Hi everyone. Today we are going to see Out of the Cradle Endlessly Rocking by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman is an American poet and this poem is in the 6th unit of PGTRB English. Walt Whitman has born on 1819 and died on 1892, and he is one of the famous journalist, short story writer, essayist and poet. This man is often considered as the father of English free verse. In this poem, Walt Whitman recalls the death of a female mockingbird. Actually, Walt Whitman was living in Long Island when he was so young. At that time, he sees two birds coming from Alabama. Alabama is a place from where these two birds are coming to Long Island, and these two birds are creating its own nest. Then the female mockingbird is laying its egg on the nest. It is laying 4 eggs actually. The 4 eggs are in the light green color with a brown spots. Green eggs with brown spots. So the eggs seem so beautiful and the birds also seeming so beautiful. The boy watches these two birds and its routine every day. And this boy is very much fond of these birds and the song of these birds. This bird used to sing a very nice songs. The male bird was so protective. At the same time, the female bird was silent and shy as she is expecting the new arrivals. And the male bird was always singing happy and melodious songs everywhere. And it was asking a sun to felicitate the hatching of its egg. So the warmth which is coming from the sun may help them to hatch the egg fine and clean. That's why this particular male bird was always praising sun and seeking the help of warmth from the sun to felicitate the hatching of egg. So things are going like this, and the bird was so hopeful about the future. These two birds were so hopeful and they both have a lot of imagination about their future also. All these things were understood by this boy because the boy was watching everything very cleanly and clearly. எல்லாமே clear-ஆ பார்த்துட்டு இருக்காரு. He understands everything what the bird thinks. And one day what happened is the female bird was missing. Somebody would have hunted the bird and the bird did not turn back, and this male bird was searching everywhere, and on the particular day onwards the male bird started singing melancholic sad songs. It was singing only sad songs all the time and trying to get its mate back. It was flying here and there, searching all the day and night, goes nearby the seashores and singing aloud, cries, and whatever he does, the female mateys are turning up. The male bird goes to the seashore and asks the sea wind to blow its mate back. Same as at nights, the male bird sees the stars and requesting them to send its mate back. So it was requesting all natural elements to send its mate back. This was observed by the small boy Walt Whitman. Even though there are people, nobody is there to observe and nobody is there to interpret the pain of this bird. Nobody is there to understand the pain of the bird. But the small boy watches this bird closely and understands what is happening there in the life of bird. Okay, and after few days the male bird understood that its mate has lost. It never be come back. He understood the fact. So now that particular bird was trying to get consolation from nature itself. So he goes and cries everywhere, and all the day and night the bird was crying. The male bird sees the black thing in the wave and misunderstands that the black thing in the wave was a a bird that it lost. And sometimes it looks at the star and he finds some dusky spots on the star and thinks that it was its mate and asking the star to return her mate back. So the bird has become so obsessed with the last bird, and it was finding the bird in every natural elements. Wherever he goes, whatever things he sees, he finds the female bird in it. It has become so obsessed actually, and it was getting overexcited and shouting like anything, and it was singing carol also. But this carol was not because of his happiness, but this carol is an outcome of its obsession to death. Actually, this bird wants to die and join with its pair. That's the motto of this particular bird. That's why he was shouting like anything with obsession. Okay, so this particular bird also wants to die now to meet its mate, and the noise, the sound created by this male bird is now subsides, gradually reducing, and nature also being calm, and as usual morning breaks up and everything happens as usual. But the female bird hasn't turned up and hasn't come back. By seeing all this, the hidden talent of poetry writing, the poem, song, is sprouting out from the boy's mind. The boy was mere boy actually earlier, but now the boy is getting the tendency of writing poetry and interpreting what the bird is singing. So the hidden talent of poetry writing is now coming out from the poet. The boy realized that he is meant to sing songs about the sorrows of life, and the poet decided to immortalize the poet's grief by writing poem. The poet wants to write poetry to make the grief of the bird immortal. He wants to make it immortal. Poet was partially happy and partially sad. Why he is happy means now the song of the bird has kindled him the fire of poetry, fire of imagination. So this boy was happy for him able to write poetry, and he was sad because he is able to interpret the sorrow of the bird. So interpretation of sorrow itself is a hell for him. So he was sad for that. Gradually, while writing, the poet is also understood death is inevitable. Nobody can escape from the death. This philosophy is understood by the poet also, and the poet is also now have the desire of dying. So once the male bird was wanting to die to meet its mate, same as now this man also wants to die because he understands the reality death is inevitable. So while he was writing poetry, in his mind the cradle of death is in his mind all the time. As rocking cradles, here the thought of death is coming in the mind of the poet all the time. He understands the reality that nobody can live for long in this world and death is inevitable, and so he was ready to accept the death with his full heart. So with that sense he was writing this poem, and this poem is a elegy actually. Elegy, you all know that elegy is a poem written mourning the death of a beloved one or a famous one. So in this poem the poet mourns the death of the female mockingbird, and this incident happens at the month of September.